That was done.
Oh,
So we
I-
should talk to her.
Yeah, she's great.
Yeah, I love it. She's great.
Oh, it's 6 o'clock.
That's right. It is November 5th. Waterways Board meeting.
Is Donna on?
I don't know, Donna's up enough. I don't know if we have a quorum because I don't know if
Donna.
anybody is out there. How do I find out?
Can't see if Donna's on there.
I'm still,
What I'm trying to do?
Chris, do you know how this?
Brian said he would be here.
Okay, what was that just came on?
Brian Clark
Six.
has just, oh, there was just a little note of.
Do you want to call Donna?
Hold on.
Oh, she's out of the country, right?
Right. No, we thought she was in Arizona.
Oh, I was.
Meredith, did you just see something? Hello?
I saw a little notice that said Brian Clark just, I don't know if it said logged in or.
It is,
There it
right,
is.
yeah,
He raised his hand.
yeah, good.
Where?
Right,
So
yeah.
he's gotta be
Yeah,
let
good.
in.
I think you have to accept him. I don't know, I've never done it.
Zoom. Is it on Zoom or no?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, you normally have to be accepted to get let into the meeting.
Do you know this?
I used it through COVID for my son. But I mean, that was the last time I used it,
This one's a hair more complicated.
and I was never the one setting up the meeting, so it's done and they got accepted.
They're gone. Yep. Now, the. See anything that says attendees.
We try to pull Donna in.
It just says view, stop video and share.
Yeah.
And then it says view, camera control, participants, which is 6. Yeah,
Hey, John. Hey, John.
I don't see your name. I don't see you. I don't see you.
You should be on that list.
Listen, I don't see where you are on this. I see all kinds of names here. Thousands of them. Yeah, Chris is here. Chris, do you know how to work this machine at all? Says no. John, oh, John's here. John, do you know how to work this machine?
I've never, but let me take a stab at it.
Yeah, this is a little different. Yeah, Brian's in. Brian's on Zoom.
He's on Zoom, I'm
Brian's
not
on
sure
Zoom.
you've let him in.
No shit, and what I,
Yeah, normally you see him like on the TV on the corner, like
You can call
lined up on
Brian,
the
keep him
corner
on speaker too if you want. Don's can stay on speaker.
okay.
when they get accepted.
Yeah. Can just.
Which person?
Mike,
Right.
so I was part of like one of those like B&I groups, and they had Zoom all the time, like you'd see all the people on the Zoom meeting.
Oh, there they are. There they are, okay.
Brian just said something.
All right, Donna. I just promoted you to panelist.
There you go. Got it.
Yep.
And then I need Brian.
Yep,
Yeah,
hit Brian's name.
all right.
Yep, he's on.
All right, I'm gonna put you on speaker as well here, just in case.
All right, so now
Brian will be.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I
Right.
got you, Brian.
All right,
Hello, everybody. Sorry I got caught up, but I pulled over.
Okay.
Thanks, Brian.
Okay. All right. now that we solved that problem.
Uh-huh.
All right, so, Waterways Board meeting, November 5th, oral communications is the first thing. I think we have to be here for oral communications.
Shall I go sit with the harbor master?
So you want to be able to, be in view of the camera. So we want to sit
You need
this
to go
side.
over here.
Yeah,
to
so-
Meredith.
Maybe
Maybe
next-
next.
Sit next to
Next to Karen.
Do you want me to come sit over here too, because I'm speaking
Oh,
coming up?
Yeah.
Might as well, since there's plenty of seats.
Good evening. My name is Meredith Fine. I'm an attorney at 108 East Main Street in Gloucester. And I represent Steve Maiori, the owner of 6 Stanwood Point, Unit B. There's, as Chris, probably, I haven't talked to Chris about this matter, but I'm sure he's aware that Mr. Maiori applied for a mud mooring, I think back in May. And things have just been sort of going in a circle since May. And I asked Steve if I could come here tonight and talk to you all and get a sense of what the current policy is and how we can hopefully help Steve get his mooring.
I'm sorry, your audio went down. I don't,
I know, I'm dialing back into Phil.
You can't hear us.
Oh, there we go.
Donna, can you?
thank you.
I,
I can hear you now. Thank you.
it just came back, yep.
So I guess my question is, what is the current policy on mud moorings?
So a person will apply to the harbor master's office, fill out an application. It will go to conservation,
Speak louder.
shellfish, and the harbor master's office. We conduct a site visit. All three of us get together, see if there's any impacts to the environment, navigation, shellfish, or any dangers of having a mud mooring, like climbing over a bank and or something to that effect. And that's the process.
And is it clear, it seems clear in the policy that ultimately the decision belongs to the harbor master?
All three. The
That's not what the
decision,
policy says.
the decision goes to all three.
My reading of the policy, and I'm only speaking loud so
Yeah,
people can
yeah,
hear me, I'm not trying to be
absolutely. No,
aggressive.
absolutely.
No, that's, is that shellfish and conservation make recommendations to the harbor master? But that only the harbor master has decision-making ability. And that is, well, I mean, I could read it to you. I don't mean to read you your own.
Yeah.
But it says, when issuing a mudflat mooring, the harbor master shall confer with the shellfish warden and the conservation commission. But it's clear that it's the harbor master's decision to make.
Meredith is right in that the final decision is at the harbor master's office after the site visit with Shellfish, with all the, the parties involved. It is the final decision of the harbor master's office.
You could have just stopped at Meredith is right. I would have been.
Meredith is always right.
Okay with that.
You could add it again.
And she hears that a lot, by the way.
Meredith is always right.
Yeah.
So I don't know so there's some confusion here about this particular application. I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about it here, but he applied in the spring. Different harbor masters told him different things. And then the shellfish warden apparently said he could not have one. so there was some discussion about the role of the shellfish warden. So then he applied again in October to get the mooring. And I don't think that it's been fully processed yet. Am I getting that close?
Yeah, so we did a site visit. It doesn't impede navigation. That was my determination. It just does cause scouring of the bottom on a viable shellfish flat. So it was her decision or her conclusion that it would be detrimental to the shellfish flat. Conservation, I don't know what their decision is as of right this minute.
Well, he's willing to put the mooring on, he's willing to make the mooring so that the boat doesn't go like that.
But then it wouldn't be a oh, you're saying bow and stern.
Yeah,
Okay,
because
so it wouldn't swing.
it wouldn't scour the bottom
Yeah,
that way.
yeah, yes.
I don't want, I don't know how, again, I don't know how
Thank you.
the board wants to get into this.
Well, we can't get into it deeply because this is really oral communication.
Exactly,
It's
yeah,
Really 3
right.
minutes.
But there's a policy issue. Here's my point. There's a policy issue here. Are these mud moorings still allowed? Because there's some discussion in the emails that they're not allowed anymore. And so I'm asking,
Meredith, I can speak to that. There was an initial, initial issue where the shellfish department wanted a moratorium on mud moorings, but that was not the vote of the Waterways Board. The vote of the Waterways Board that there would be a new application with input from conservation and shellfish, and that ultimately it would be the harbor master's decision.
okay. Thank you for clarifying that, Don.
Meredith, how big a boat does he want to put on?
It's like a 12-foot, it's tiny.
Inflatable?
No,
No, I don't think it's
20-foot scout.
inflatable. Is it 12?
20-foot scout, I believe, or 20-foot jet drive, he told me.
Oh, okay.
I have it in here somewhere. Oh, I have a 20, okay, yeah, you're right.
20-foot jet
I,
drive.
I,
Was it
dyslexic
scout, was it
moment.
a scout or
He
just,
didn't
it just
say-
said jet drive?
he didn't say, yeah. So
The
does-
jet drive might be the issue.
that's too big.
Well, the inboard jet drive is a bottom disturbing engine,
Well, not any more than any propeller.
maybe, yeah.
No,
I
you're right.
think, I think, Meredith, he should just make an appointment with Chris and, discuss what could be, what what you guys could come up with to make it less detrimental to the environment. The new shellfish warden doesn't want any mud moorings out there. She thinks they're not a good idea. But that's why the board voted to have input from the shellfish warden and conservation and have it ultimately come under. And if Chris wanted to come back to us and, get some input, he could, but I think your client should make an appointment with Chris, discuss what could be done to mitigate the issues with the mud flat, with the clam flat, and then go from there.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you all for your, thank you for your
Very
time.
good. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Meredith.
Good to see you.
Next item is the approval of minutes from last meeting. Everyone have a chance to read the minutes?
Yep.
Any changes or corrections or?
Not for me.
Nope.
Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I'd like to make a motion to approve last month's Waterways Board minutes.
I'll second.
Nice.
Second, we have second?
Yeah.
So we have a motion from Peter. And second from Bobby. And any discussion? All right, so since we have people on Zoom, need a roll call vote. So Brian? Yes? No? Oh, wait a minute. Why are you on mute?
He gave you a
He gave a
thumbs up.
thumbs up.
Yeah,
I know, but gonna unmute you though. Can you unmute yourself there or am I unmute?
yeah,
I think he has to unmute himself.
yeah, he has to do it.
He gave you a thumbs up.
I know he did. I wanna see if we can correct that. Anyway, Donna,
Yes,
Yes,
Sure.
sorry.
there you go. John,
Yes.
Karen,
Yes.
me, yes,
Yes.
Bobby, yes, Peter,
Yes.
yes, okay. Motion passes. How many are we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7-0. All right, next we have the presentation from. Where'd you go?
I'm over
Mike.
here.
Oh,
Hey, you talking to me?
yes,
Mike.
Mike.
Duncan. From Gloucester Borough.
Gloucester Boat Rental.
Mike, last name?
Duncan, Duncan. So. I'm assuming you all kind of remember me from a month and a half ago or whatever it was when I came in. I'm looking to get some sort of commercial mooring. Doesn't, I mean, depending on what you allow, I mean, it doesn't have to technically be a transient mooring, which I'd rather it not be a transient mooring, but I think that, you know, obviously every business is different in town. And where I am a boat rental, I have a little different situation than most businesses, you know? So basically what I'm looking to do is expand my business, but with the limited dock space around town, there's no more dock space where I am, and I am basically, I got more boats than I can put there
Which is where now?
at the Gloucester House Restaurant. So I have 7 boats over there right now, and I have 2 more boats that I want to put on the roster, but I have no room for them. So what I'd like to do is get some moorings for them, obviously. And, you know, I was talking to Chris the other day, I bumped into him down on the dock at the boat ramp. And I was mentioning how there's commercial moorings over in the harbor. I forget what you call it. What's that cove, Chris, we were talking about?
Vincent's Cove.
Vincent's Cove. I have some pictures of my phone on it if you guys want to look at it. But basically there's plenty of space over there. I mean, it's not I don't know if you want to look at this, but I can show you. So in between this barge, and then there's another boat with a dock.
Yeah, I know.
There's plenty of space in the middle there. So if I could do something like this guy does with a dock, I could put boats on either side. It's right near where I need to be, because I mean, that's only probably 3 or 4 minutes outside of the Gloucester House. Would you guys like to look at this?
Yeah.
I know, I'm familiar with golf.
Yeah.
I'm familiar.
Yeah, so,
I'm not.
so right in the middle, there's probably like a 35, 40-foot
We lost.
boat there.
So where are you thinking?
Kind of right in the middle, or even, I mean, it'd be one of those things, it'd be a double moored dock, and if I get a 40-foot dock in there, then I'd be able to put. You know, I have a 35-foot sailboat and a 19-foot sailboat that I'm looking for spots for to use. I'm gonna use those boats as rentals. And, you know, eventually I'd like to grow too, so if I had like a 40 or 50-foot dock that was moored on both sides in there, I'd be able to fit another 4 boats in on that dock. And I wouldn't be impeding anybody. And there's plenty of space over there. I mean, or if that doesn't work, just do the transient moorings wherever, I mean, right now I've been on the list in Southeast Harbor for 5 years now. And my name hasn't even moved. Like, I'm still at 43. So it's like, I mean, 5 years, I mean,
But that's everything.
there's plenty of space out in Southeast Harbor. I mean, you guys put in, I don't know how many moorings out in Southeast Harbor last year. And you guys, obviously, you jumped ahead of everybody on the list because no one else on the list moved. So it's like, I just don't understand how.
I'm just gonna jump in right here. So, on October 31st of 23, you were listed as 45, 44, 46, and 47 on the list.
Yeah.
And on 10/24 of 24, you were listed as 41, 42, 43, and 44. So it
The
actually
last
has,
time I looked, it was
it
at
has
40.
moved.
It hasn't moved much.
Well, but I've been on the list for 20 years, so I don't have a mooring.
So I have a question about your last comment. What did you mean by we put moorings in and we jumped? the
Well,
list?
all the transient moorings you guys put in,
Yeah,
like, Those are commercial moorings, right?
They're transient ones.
They're transient moorings.
But are they, I mean, how, what are they, I mean, how did you
They,
get,
they belong, we, as far as we as the city,
I'm assuming there's city moorings, right?
yeah, you're talking the ones in here, or you're talking out there.
Well, I mean, they're all over the town. They just arrived, like you got,
Well, they've been here for.
so they're not new,
No, there are a few new ones, yes, but they've been here.
because I never seen that many, like in Gloucester Harbor, there's like a whole lineup of new ones, I feel.
Yeah, there's a few new ones, yeah.
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 So I mean, how did you get yours permitted to do that?
Because it's a transient mooring, it's different than, there's. a
So, I
different-
mean, how would
Transient
I?
mooring for the city.
So it's for
Why
the
do you
city,
feel
it's
that
for
you should get
transient
that?
boaters.
Well, I mean,
Before the
you're
city.
doing a commercial thing though with the city, right?
It's transient, it's
But why do you feel that
floaters,
you should get
traveling
that for
boaters.
Well, because I'm a business, it's a commercial,
It's
This
not
is-
business.
This is an overnight thing. This is.
These are overnights. This is not a
so-
transient.
well, it's up to
For
14
you,
days,
14
which
days, which you could
which
do. for
my
14
brother-
days.
he was in the mooring field 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't you at the time, but TJ told him, you know, he was there and he was like living aboard because he was sailing down the Caribbean back. And he goes, you can't be here for more than 30 days in the mooring field.
Right.
So he goes, what can I do? He's like, I'm working here. He goes, well, you can rent a transient mooring. And they gave him a mooring for 30 days, not 14.
Right, so 14 days, 30 days with the approval of the harbor master.
Oh, all
So
right.
it's up to 30 days, it's 14 days transient, then you
Yeah.
have to leave. So transient is for boaters that are traveling. Or boaters that are coming in to do work at the railways or a yacht club or a boatyard, that's.
But I
that's
mean,
what a
I got-
transient is.
I got 12 boats.
Yeah,
that
but that's
I
not,
want,
you're
but I
not.
mean, there'd be different, I could switch the boats all the
that's-
time.
Yeah, that's not how.
So, but so in your business, right? So I'm just gonna ask you a question. So in essence, you're in competition with the city of Gloucester. Just. let's
Not
just
really. I mean,
say
because you,
that as a premise for
we already
for
have boats
transient,
yours.
you're talking about getting transient moorings, which the city of Gloucester
I'm
uses
trying to get a
to.
commercial mooring, which
What, but
you guys don't offer. I guess.
exactly, we don't, exactly. So if there were and I'm gonna say that, I'm gonna guess, just off the top of my head, guess that this would have to go through the mayor's office to have a special sort of dispensation for a special business in the city. I'm gonna guess that we would have to go through the mayor's office, but so are you looking to have transient or a special dock afloat, which we don't approve right now? Like, we're looking at
I would
approving
like,
floats
I
for
mean,
boats, but just don't interrupt me. So would you be willing to pay more money to have a special business float for your business?
I'm willing to pay for it. I mean, I don't know what the cost is.
We don't either, because we don't have that.
I mean, I'm willing to pay, I mean, as of now, I mean, what's it, $6 a foot?
Hey,
$8 a foot now? I mean, I'm willing to pay
that's-
that, or if
That's
it's,
for a regular.
I mean,
mooring.
normally
A
commercial-
Transient mooring is a different price, everything's, they're different, the price.
I mean, with the commercial docks in town, those are cheaper than commercial docks.
But those are the fishermen.
Well, what's the difference between fishing or a business? I mean, is there any difference?
Ask the fishermen that
Business.
question.
You know, we're both in business. It's like, I mean, I can't afford to go down to Cape Ann Marina and spend $200 a foot. You know what I mean? Or $250 a foot. It's like, that's why I'm not
No,
there.
What I'm asking you.
Where I'm at Lenny's,
What I'm
or-
asking you is if we, as the Waterways Board and the mayor's office and the harbor master's office came up with something that might fit your business that wasn't $200 a foot, but was more than what we do as a Waterways Board, as a city, would that be amenable to you?
I mean, it all depends on the price, I guess.
Right,
Don,
so I'm
would-
just saying, is there, if we came up with something that would work for your business?
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
not saying we could, I'm not saying we could.
I
But
would
if we
totally be
came
into
to-
listening to price if you guys had a price that you thought that would work for, like I said, that. I mean, the best situation for me would do like a dock in that area where there's no boats.
Right, but we don't allow, right now, there's no way for us to allow a float on a transient mooring for a boat to be on both sides, which would be great for the city because we would make more money. Right,
No.
but that doesn't exist right now.
But, so how did that guy get a dock where it is?
We're good.
Steve Douglas.
with the
Steve Douglas.
fishing, the sport fisher.
He's a doc.
Yeah.
With.
Vincent's Cove, it's a float.
On
in
Vincent
Vincent's
Cove.
Float on his
Yeah.
board.
Yeah. Vincent Cove.
There's a float next to it.
Yeah. So at one time that was allowable.
What?
And yeah, it was allowable. People were abusing it. They were storing gear on it. Not his particular one, but there were some in Smith Cove. There were a few throughout the city waters. So it was taken out of the regulations.
All right. So is this something I would have to? I mean, if I went to the, I mean, what'd she say, the mayor or?
So Donna, in order for him to do anything like that, there would have to be a list made. So you couldn't just say, he wants it, go to the mayor. There would have to be a list created. It would, people's names would have to go into a hat and be pulled out of a hat, and then a waiting list would be drawn from there. So if you offered 5 of these spots, the first 5 people would be drawn in a hat. It's in the in the regulations, and then there would have to be a list created after
Would it
that.
be, would
So that
it
would
be
be, if it did happen, it
commercial?
would be, there is no, it just says any new areas, whether it be a dock or a different type of mooring. So you could get on the list that he could say, yes, mayor could say, yes, this is doable. We could come up with a plan, and you may not even get it. Because anybody can apply for it that's doing a commercial business.
Or they'd have to have, let them bid for it.
Or,
Or a bid for it.
it doesn't say bid in the
It's on the reg, yeah.
regs.
Right.
So the regs specifically say,
But if I'm not mistaken, we're not offering anything in Vincent Cove yet.
we are not. There were moorings in Vincent's Cove that were taken out
That's
by
right.
this board
That's right.
or a previous board.
Yeah.
That,
For-
then that
We're not
used to
offering
usually,
anything else.
that's typically, if I can butt in here, that's typically where marine contractors will
That's
slide
where we
down.
bring,
Yeah.
that's,
Pile driving barges,
Yes.
dredge barges, they're gonna sit in the harbor.
that's where we
stick
put them.
Right,
Yes.
right. So we're not
Because they're
offering
not-
moorings in Vincent Cove whatsoever.
It's been that way for
Forever.
forever.
I'm
That-
gonna say that, having had the presentation and what you're looking for, that as a board or one of the subcommittees would need to take this up, you know, as what could we do, what potentially could we do, that might, you know, work out for people. But there's no way for any decision to be made tonight because there's nothing in our ability to make a decision about this. We don't have the ability to do that
Right.
within the regulations.
I'm just trying to move forward and that's why I'm
No,
doing it.
I
It's- it's
understand.
like- You know what I mean? It's like I said, I have 2 boats that I don't even have space for them.
But
So it's like,
you're asking for the board to provide you with a marina.
no, I'm
Asking
fine
for
with
full
I'm fine
moorings,
with
I'm
a
asking for-
commercial mooring if we can figure out a spot. I mean, there's,
A commercial mooring or 4?
well, I have my list, I mean, when TJ was in there, he said, only thing I can do for a commercial mooring is get transient moorings. And that's what, I put my name on the list, and I've been paying to be on the list for 4 or 5 years. I'm not exactly sure when I've got on the list.
Last time you were here, you were asking for 4 moorings.
Well, that's what I'm on the list for right now. On Southeast Harbor, I've been paying for 4 or 5 years to be on the list to get moorings, because that's what I was told I had to do. By
And
teach-
that is true. So you are doing the right thing on that side. What I'm saying is,
But
what I'm
issue
saying is we can take this under advisement and just sort of try to brainstorm about, you know, what we might be able to come up with, you know, to help out. But I think
But-
that's the only thing we can do imminently.
So Don, I empathize with you. You're trying to start a business, you're trying to get it off the ground. You know, I think Gloucester in many ways, especially with the commercial fishing industry, has bent over backwards to help facilitate and aid the fishing industry. I feel for you. You're trying to start your own business. We do have a number of people. We had a problem with, to separate from you, but it's 6 degrees of separation.
Yeah,
We have a bunch of commercial boat owners that want to use our dock, the Harbor Masters dock, and we pushed them away. So we do have an issue or demand. And I think, as Donna noted, I'd like to help you any way we can, because it brings more foot traffic to the waterfront. You bring people, you give them access to people from Worcester or what have you that don't
Yeah, I mean-
can't enjoy it, they don't own a boat, and they can rent a boat for an afternoon. I love the idea. I'd like to see if I can talk to other people here about, you're not the only one though, there's other commercial boat owners or business owners that have similar problems.
Doing like
They
charters
need a
or,
footprint, yes,
Yeah, they were
charters,
all
but
Yeah.
they need a footprint. So, and we can't provide them with a footprint. It might be something that we could scratch our heads over and work together. And maybe Vincent's Cove or come up with something, because we do have the room in terms of moorings. We do. Vincent Cove, but as John noted, that might be something that we should set aside just for cranes and things of that sort that come into town. I don't know.
that's the way it's.
But I do think that is something we should try to work with Michael and work with the other commercial boat owners.
I mean, all my boats are pretty small, so even like, you know, where the paint factory is. Outside of the channel markers there's no moorings in that whole area. It's like you could put moorings in along those rocks. I mean, you could put 30 moorings in there. I mean, there's plenty of room. I mean, I'm just saying there's ample room in the ocean to have more moorings. And I'm not gonna be using your services to get out to the boats. It's like I have my own boats to get out there. So it's not like I'd be impeding you guys at all or overloading your system with my customers, you know what I mean?
The interesting thing about transients and when we looked at increasing them is that bring revenue into the city without car traffic and without car parking, that's always a problem. So that was the interest in transients. Cause I
Hey, Karen, a little louder.
is without car traffic.
Leslie's recording this.
Yeah,
So louder.
so when we started out with transients, as we built the transient moorings, because I am the transient C and what I've done all my life is to try to build up and help the revenue of the city of Gloucester without car traffic. So that was the basic platform for transient,
Yeah.
moorings, just so that you.
No, I
Yeah.
understand that.
Yeah.
But I'm not looking for a transient mooring. I mean, I'm a commercial business. I'd like a mooring that my boats can just stay on. But if
Right.
that's the only way you can get a commercial mooring is through transient, then I would do it and I'd switch my boats periodically, so they're not on for more than 14 days at a time.
That's not gonna be the answer because the city pays for all the transient, the upkeep of the transient or the gear of the transient, or that doesn't work. So what I'm saying is that
And what about,
perhaps the board can, in the next board meeting or in subcommittee, take up, like, can we fit something in between? Like city-owned commercial marinas for the fishermen and transient, is there some way to service the businesses of Gloucester in a different format than what we currently have? Like, can we brainstorm a little bit to come up with something that fits for, these situations?
like Browns, they have moorings they rent out. The yacht clubs have moorings they rent out. They're in their businesses and they're not giving you guys money other than whatever the transient fee is to
But that's
actually have the
not, that's not
mooring.
a new thing. They've had that since Gloucester was Gloucester.
Well, I know, but they're businesses and they're not,
Yeah, but that's not a new thing. that
Yeah,
they're
but that's not gonna change. I mean, what I'm saying is it's a new situation. Aside from the yacht clubs and, these people that have had their things forever and ever, decades and decades. Can we come up with something that slides into a new format that works for, commercial businesses that aren't fishermen? Because that's our difficult point, is
Yeah.
that the city, tries to cater to fishermen, and we want that to be, it's an important industry for the city, but can we make a tunnel or something that works for other businesses in the city?
I mean, as of now, I'm currently doing between 400 and 500 rentals a year. So it's like, I am bringing in, my rental boats, they hold up to 8 people. So, you figure, say anywhere between 4 and 8 people go out every time that I rent a boat. So I am bringing in a lot of people, and then they go to the restaurant right after they're done with me, and they're eating at Lenny's, they're eating at Minglewood, they're eating all over town.
Do you have something? So,
The transient moorings at Browns are for their business, not for rent to make them to make money with.
right, so he's not really, so he's not, Michael, can I just I said, man, I love your enthusiasm. I really do. I applaud you.
I appreciate
And
that.
there's waterfront property in this town that's falling into the water. And you're coming in here loaded for bear. And I respect it and I applaud you. And I think that there are other commercial entities in this town that are looking for moorings or waterfront space. I think we should, in regards to commercial entities like yourself, I think we should meet again and discuss it. I do think it's a challenge that we have in the waterfront, and I applaud you. I really do.
I appreciate that, and I would, anything you guys can do, honestly, would be great, because, I mean, no offense, but being at Lenny's, if I could get a couple boats off there or whatever, I mean, it's not cheap to be there. I mean, I'm paying an arm and a leg to have dock space, and if I could have moorings that were cheaper, it'd be a little bit better.
Yeah, good.
All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna either, we're gonna table this for tonight, because it doesn't seem like we're gonna get anywhere with it. So we're probably gonna send this down to either subcommittee or, we'll probably send it down to subcommittee and investigate it further.
And what is subcommittee?
Well, for us, it's going to be down to, the subcommittee we on.
Public
It's
facility.
your commit, it's public facilities, Phil.
Public facilities, which is what this is under. And try and figure out or brainstorm this a little further.
All right, so
Because we're not gonna-
Mike, it's not, we're handcuffed. We can't make a decision. There's nothing,
I understand.
there's nothing we can do tonight. So, but it's a compelling situation. And there are other commercial businesses that have come to the board and said, we need help. So it's something we have to tackle. So we'll tackle it.
All right, so what should I do from here to, do I come back next month to see?
No. I mean, we understand the situation. We're gonna work with the harbor master's office on trying to find a solution that works for the commercial businesses and the city and the fishermen. That's the task.
So when should I expect anything from this? Or like hear anything?
Well, I think that Chris is gonna.
Yeah, you're more than welcome to call me
Yeah.
anytime. I'll reach out to you once we have some answers or we progress forward.
Yeah,
It'll take a
Keep you
couple
in
of
the loop.
months.
It'll take some time.
So your contact will be Chris.
all right, and is there any, like,
I will contact you.
any
if there's
reasonable
anything.
chance that, like, we could try to get this resolved before next spring?
It depends on how.
I mean,
quick
that's
it's
the way.
That's-
No,
That's-
we-
We're all handcuffed by the rules and regulations. It's
Well, I
part of
understand that. I
city
understand
government,
everything takes
so
time, but it's like,
we are gonna have to create something new. But I mean, that, we understand you run a business, it's in the summer, so we're gonna try to do that.
all right, that's all I
You're in
want.
a silo, Chris, Michael, you're in a silo that we need to address.
No, I
You're not
understand
the
that.
only person, so
Yeah, no, I
today,
understand that.
to be polite, today, I think you're good.
So I
We'll be working on this.
All right.
recommend, let's put a
appreciate
pin
it.
in it right now.
And the people,
Brian's trying to talk.
I just wanted to say, the people on the list, like, Donna, you've been on for 20 years. Those people are also interested in new moorings being put in too. So that's a dilemma I see. I'm coming in kind of new at this, but people would love to have just new private moorings put up there too, right? So that's Chris's dilemma too, right? I mean,
We're gonna explain why we gave this guy 4 moorings in front of all these other people. on the
Exactly.
list.
exactly. That's the challenge I see. And
Yeah.
I don't know.
Exactly, as well as other commercial.
No offense to you guys, but didn't you just do that last year with all your,
You seem to think a lot of new transients got put in, and no, they.
maybe they're just new buoys, so it looks a lot,
They're bigger. They're
a lot like
the
more.
buoys are tall, we put
Yeah.
taller.
Maybe
bigger
it's just
buoys.
because you guys put new mooring or new buoys on all of them and they're more noticeable, but
Yeah.
And that's frankly what we're trying to do, is put moorings in, so that we
Yeah.
can satisfy the list.
The waiting list.
I mean, when TJ was in office, he told me that they were gonna get another boat to service more moorings in Southeast Harbor, and they were gonna start issuing more moorings, and he was gonna blow through the list in like a year or two.
Mhm.
He's like, the Southeast Harbor can handle another 150 boats, so don't worry, you'll have your mooring in a year or two, and like, and And I said, well, I was like, I don't technically need your boat to be driving my people back and forth. I'll shuttle my own customers out to my boat. So it's like, if you're restricted by a boat, that's like, I'm not gonna be using your boats to do it, so it's not really a factor.
Yeah, Michael, we got it, seriously, you're
Understood.
good, you understood,
So,
you did.
And I think you're a heave-ho head that our chairperson of the Waterways Board said that we are going to look into it,
Right.
and she understands it, so that's a good thing.
I know, I
Yeah,
appreciate
That's a
that.
good thing.
I think you can hear that people are listening and understand the situation. I mean,
No,
we're not saying, no way, you can't do this. We want to try to find some resolution. We want to try to find something that works for people.
I just wanted to let you know what I was told before Chris was the new harbor master. So I don't know, if obviously he's not here anymore, so it's like, but I mean, that's what I was told that was gonna happen, and
right,
it just
Okay.
hasn't happened.
all right, so.
So we have a lot
moving
on
on.
our agenda
Yeah.
tonight, so Michael, you're good.
I appreciate your time, and I'll be in contact with Chris.
Right.
Absolutely.
Every couple months, and you know,
Yeah.
it's like, I'm sure it'll be a short conversation, and either you guys have figured something out or you haven't, but if I need to go to the mayor or whatever, just let me know and I will write my letters or do whatever I have to do to jump through the hoops to
And
make it all
You
happen.
have a formal presentation, like a letter all put together and everything.
Yeah, I mean, I've dealt with, like, I was in Rockport and they tried to kick me out of Granite Pier and I had to get a lawyer and everything, and obviously it was a public way, so I was able to stay there, but I jumped through all the hoops and I did it, and I stayed there for 5 years, and then I grew to the point where I couldn't be doing it through.
I'm gonna tell you that, and I did email you this, at some point, because it's in the regulations, as a commercial business, you are going to need to present a business plan. So start working on it.
All right,
Yeah, you have to have a presentation.
Thank you, Michael.
A business plan. Okay.
Yeah.
I appreciate your
Yeah,
time.
it's definitely
All right.
part of the
Good.
thing.
Thank you, Mike.
Yep.
Thanks, Mike.
Yeah. Keep up that.
We're on your side.
All right, thank you, Donna. All right, good night, guys.
Good night.
Next item, a review of the vote that we had on the trash storage language.
Oh, yeah. Chris, do you want to tackle this? You want me to just give it? So,
Don, I want you to.
Yeah, you have to tackle that.
So, yeah, the language of the vote we had, it doesn't work. I mean, I don't think, I talked to Suzanne, we don't actually have to rescind the vote because it doesn't apply. The Waterways Board has no jurisdiction over the parking lot at I-4C2, but, you know, and Chris will go through this with what's been going on with the lease, but our vote to like have leases on I-4C2, it doesn't even apply because we don't have any jurisdiction over that parking lot. So end of story.
So our vote was null and void?
Null and void.
Okay,
I thought the mayor's office said, no, you guys deal with it, because they didn't want it.
Yeah, he did, but then Suzanne talked to Greg, Suzanne talked to the mayor, and there was a lot of stuff that happened behind the scenes. They didn't even tell me about it, so they're dealing with it, and Chris isn't in that mix, so it's all good.
So the trap storage is happening. It's not that it's null and void and we're not doing anything with it.
Right.
They are getting their storage in a confined area.
We charge.
No, it's a
No.
license from the city to use that for 1 year. It's a 1 year license or 1 season license.
Mhm.
at no cost.
Yes, at no cost, from November 15th to June 15th,
But you have
No
to
cost
administer it.
this year.
this year, as of right now.
But you have to administer it. And
Yes, so everything it's all marked out, so if they're inside of the lines and they're in their spots, it's on them. They're all big boys.
Yep.
When they come outside of the line and leave them out, that's when it's,
How high can they go?
how high? We said 5 to 6.
Okay.
5 to 6
Sure,
an
so
hour.
I'm fine,
Same as
I'm
what
fine.
was,
I'm good with that.
yeah,
Oh,
same
yeah.
as what was on the other piers that we
Not
had. The same, they have the same square footage on I-4C2 as they have in the parking lot. St. Peter's has the same square footage as they had on the pier in the parking lot. So they didn't lose anything. They have same square footage. There's 8 parking spots. a loading zone, and an overflow trap storage area. Fishermen are happy, city's happy, Suzanne's happy,
Phil's happy.
Bill's happy,
Sounds like a gift.
Tony's happy,
Yeah.
you know, it worked.
Yeah.
It worked.
Perfect.
They were very clear that it was a 1-year license. Not a lease, but a license. And the Waterways Board has no jurisdiction over the parking lot or the storage.
That's apple juice, right, Donna?
Or the pier itself, no.
The pier itself, they do,
We do have
Yes.
jurisdiction over the
with a
pier.
pier.
You hear? We do have jurisdiction over the.
No, we don't.
Over the pier, they said yes.
We
Yes,
don't.
we do, yeah.
No, we don't.
We do.
Have her check that out too.
Well, they are telling us we do, so we're going with that. But the whole reason to get the traps off of the walkways and the piers was to try to get the money to repair them, so. But I don't know, I'm just gonna tell you guys, because this is being recorded. There was a rumor. There was a rumor that I do the books for Oak to Ember, and that's how we got the traps off the pier.
Oh.
What? I'm sorry?
Okay.
What?
Was it
Nice.
rumored that you were paid for that? Was your job?
Yeah,
or-
exactly, that I got paid by Oak to Ember to do their books, and that's how we got the traps off the pier.
That's a new one on us.
I got that one from Tony Gross.
Oh, nice.
Hmm.
Well, Oak to Ember is still obligated to have 5,000 square feet, just under 5,000 square feet of trap storage on their property.
Right, and they should, because
Out of
they're
their
a
chapter,
restaurant on the waterfront.
No, so they can comply with their
How many square feet?
marine use.
4,900, right in that general area.
Okay,
Okay,
all right, so moving on. Harbor Masters report.
I love this having.
Harbor Masters report. So we had a pretty good season. All around good season, no major events. All normal stuff. Our transient moorings. Last year, we made 97,000 and change. This year, we made 102. Our launch last year was at 14,000. This year, it's at 18,620. 48 passes were sold for the launch and 13 books. So the books didn't work, the discounted ride didn't work as well as we thought.
Really?
Yeah, it didn't work as well as we thought. Boat ramp last year was at $17,430. This year, at this point, we're at $7,830. That doesn't include the beginning of next season. This is fiscal year. So that will be the beginning of the season. We'll have a lot of passes, launch passes, ramp passes sold. 10A float permits have not, they just went out. Last year it was 41,800. I anticipate the same thing, the same floats exist. So the money will be pretty much the same. Our permitted moorings last year were 241,877.
Wow.
I anticipate it's the same thing or very close this year.
What was
Those
that
just
again?
went
What was
out,
242.
241,877.
How many 10A permits do we have?
What's that?
How many 10A permits do we have?
I don't know the exact number.
Wow. Very good.
So the difference in the boat ramp was how much difference from year to year?
The difference in the boat ramp, it was 17,430. We're at 7,830 right now
Wow.
because it's fiscal year.
Oh.
Fiscal year,
Oh,
so we
oh,
still
oh.
have the beginning of next
Yeah,
year.
yeah.
When we get a lot of passes will be sold. So we'll make up quite a bit of that money.
Any idea how many mooring approximately we have?
Private moorings,
Yeah, like mine.
1,200. 1300, somewhere in that area. I mean, it's up and down. People are giving them up. And
Right.
we're renewing them and adding mooring, so that's a,
Close enough, thank you.
It'll be interesting to see if the boat ramp gets back up to that. You know, it'd be interesting to see what the year to date was at this time last year for the boat ramp. Like if it was around 7 or 8,000, then we would know, okay, that's gonna be about the same. But if it was much higher than that, then, you know, we have an issue.
okay. I can look into that.
You know, what I'm saying is we have, you know, that number, that differential, the $10,000 differential is pretty big. But if the, you know, the fall and the winter are pretty much the same numbers, then we know there's no big difference. But we don't track the boat traffic at the ramps to know were there more boats or less boats, to know, like, are we missing the money?
Right.
Okay. We do have the camera.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah,
There are cameras.
no one's
And
monitoring it.
we only have somebody down there, on the weekend, Saturday and Sundays. So during the week, there's nobody there. We go down and collect the money that's put in the box.
Like how far back in terms of the camera? Does it store a week's worth of recording or is it a month's?
I
worth of
don't know.
days?
That's a
I don't think
relative,
it's
that
recording,
system,
is it?
it is recording. That
Yeah.
system's
okay.
been up and down quite a bit. It was, part of a harbor master / Coast Guard / FEMA, and now it's run by the state police. So I don't know that it's up, it was not running for a long time. It's up and running again.
It just, possibly, it might be interesting, you know, maybe someday to look back, or just for data analysis, and say that, you know, we have on the average 50 boats using the ramp a week. And then it goes up to 80 in July.
In July.
Right, and then it goes to 100 in August, then to 10 in October.
I know
talked to for free.
somebody that's right there. 2 people.
Oh, yeah.
And I heard the Coast Guard can look
No,
inside.
I think it's just gonna be like tracking that, like fall and fall and spring, like let's just look at the numbers and make sure we're not missing out. Like, would it make sense to pay somebody to be down there more because we're collecting enough money to make that?
What is
Yeah.
the hours that somebody watches the ramp on weekends?
From probably 6 in the morning till 3 on Saturday and Sunday.
Hmm.
That's a good
Yeah,
amount.
but that's-
Yeah, so
That's
you're
a good amount
talking,
of
so
time.
we've made 7,800 to date.
Yeah.
So that as an indication would say we're only gonna make whatever, another $5,000 to $7,000 at the beginning of the season, depending on.
Right,
Yeah.
so if we look at the numbers from last spring, we'll know, like, is that much bigger? Is it 10,000? If it's not, then we have a problem. That's all.
Right.
We just have to look at the numbers.
Look at the big picture, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay,
All right, so we, for repairs, we have
Can I
more
ask-
inspection. Go ahead.
The launch, the launch passes.
Yeah.
Do you feel that charging $300 is the appropriate amount? I don't know if that we want to take this up later, but I was just wondering in terms of the numbers. You said that the passes didn't really work.
Yeah, the passes didn't work
books
very
didn't
well.
The book.
The
The
books.
discount books, yeah.
Yeah, the discounted
Right,
daily
and
passes that we
you
buy.
felt because,
We only sold 13 of them.
Yeah.
You know, that just seemed, I thought that was gonna take off, and I think people just, they either bought the passes, or they passed, the single pass, or they paid by the trip.
do you think the Waterways Board would make more money if we just charged $10 a ride?
I think we should say with the passes for now.
Yeah.
I mean, we just tried it last year.
Yeah.
Give it another year.
Yeah.
I would think
Yeah.
give it another year. I think people
Yeah,
said, hey,
sure.
listen, I'm not gonna buy this discounted book. I'm gonna see how many times I use it and I'll pay,
Sure.
you know, as I go.
It begs
And
to ask.
hopefully they say, hey, it was cheaper for me to buy the book, and we sell a lot of books.
And they look at weather, so
Yeah.
the summer before that, it was so rainy, so
Right.
they that might have been. Yeah,
Repairs.
I agree with that.
Repairs.
Repairs, okay,
Okay.
so. This coming season, before the season starts, we have more in inspection and replacement. So pretty much all of our moorings in Ten Pound Island area, Southeast Harbor area, and Stage Head, Fort Park, need to be replaced. Transients, yes. It's probably somewhere between, to inspect them and replace them, we're saying $8,000 to $10,000. We just made some pump out repairs on our pump out boat, yeah.
In terms of the moorings, historically, this is a question, like the bottom chain is usually restored on a mooring every 10 years.
10 years.
And the top chain is every 3 to 5.
3 to 4, 3
Well,
to
you
5,
can do
depending on
5.
where you are,
Right.
depending if you drop it to the
It's
bottom.
super variable depending on where
Yeah.
you are in this river.
Yeah.
So is that, what's our policy?
Every 3 years, every 3 years, we have them looked at. If they need to be replaced, they're replaced.
Got it.
And that's where we are, we stagger inside and outside. So
Okay.
we have 15 in here. And then out there is another.
Does Dirt or do it, or do you just put a diver in, or?
Joe Borland usually does it.
Okay.
Joe Borland has done it in the past.
Okay.
I did it for.
We've had Dirt do it in the
Until TJ got
past.
hired and then he replaced me with Joe.
Yeah, and John's done it in the past.
So is Stagehead, 10 pound and World?
Southeast Harbor. So there's a couple out in Southeast.
10
You
pound.
still have the 15 out there?
We don't have the 15 out there. No, we moved them. They weren't getting sold
Right.
on a regular, so we just left 2 out there over by Bob's boat. So there's 4. There's 4 out in
Freezing.
10 pound.
Recall.
There's 4 over in Stage Head. 2 in Southeast.
And then 15 in the harbor.
So we did some pump out boat repairs, engine repairs. It totaled about $1,000. That's up and running, tip top shape again. Gloucesterman 1 and 2 launches to wrap them and put them away for the winter was about $1,500 a piece. 23 Parker, another $1,000 to winterize it and wrap it. Safe boat oil change is coming up and some work to that. Maintenance, it's another $1,500. We did talk about a safe boat heater. That's $4,500. We did some electrical work at the ramp from previous storm damage. That was another $3,800. And we do have a $17,000 bill that we'll be starting to pay this coming year. It was deferred till this year. And that's what I have.
Okay,
So it's about 42,500, somewhere in
Is
that
that
area.
heater a done deal? Cause you really need that.
The heater is not a done deal.
It's not.
What's it powered by?
What's that?
Is it electric with a generator or is it?
So there's a generator and there's a heating and cooling system that needs to be heated. You have to you drain it and winterize it for the winter. So I don't know how you winterize a heating system if you need it in the winter. We do have a
You have to
Wabasco.
have it plugged in all the time at the dock.
Yeah, it'd have to be plugged in with the heater. That's part of this safe boat system. We do have a Wabasco heater, so that's what we use now. We have 2 systems. It just doesn't make sense. You can't use your generator or your heat or air conditioner in the winter. Not that you'd use the air conditioner in the winter, but it's just, it's redundant. It's crazy. So we have a separate heat system also. So we just leave it, right now it's winterized, one of them. The other one, it's just a Wabasco little diesel heater.
Okay.
So we want a heat system so the pipes don't freeze up, the pipes that cool our generator and produce our heat. So that was a flaw on safe boat. I mean, if you are above the Carolinas and you're ordering a safe boat, it should be.
it should be just come with it.
Well, usually they're like boats that size, if they're gonna do something like a survey boat, they'll have like an air cooled Honda generator
Yeah.
on the back that runs your HVAC system. And it doesn't have any plumbing, it doesn't use any water.
Chris, you wanna take number 7 as well, and then we'll reverse the order?
Let's see, number 7. Referral of view for fees. So,
We'll just reverse the order, let's do the
Yeah,
6
yeah.
afterwards.
yeah, so I'm open to any suggestions. I think we should talk about fees across the board. So why don't we
Not today.
start with 10A float fees? Right now, they're $1 a square foot with a $400 cap. And that was from 2016. So it hasn't been changed. 2016, it went to $1 a square foot
Yeah.
for a 10A float with a cap of 400. I would really like to see it go up a little bit. I think that's a long time. It doesn't have to be a lot of money, but I think it should go up, or it should be changed that you pay a certain amount to have that float up to a certain size, and then you get charged a price after that, you
It's not a
know.
lot of money.
No, it's not.
No, you're already getting jammed for this in your property tax. You're already paying for these things with your property taxes.
You're paying for your float and property tax?
It's not on the value of your property?
I don't.
The assessor doesn't look at that float in your backyard? And say,
Well-
ooh, yeah. Cha-ching,
I don't think so.
I never thought of that.
absolutely.
They should ching us.
We give me a float.
No.
No, they went, I mean, that was one of the reasons I really go on for, is because of stuff like that, like it used to be, oh, you got a float permit, it was a 10, it was a $20 or a $40, and then they went to this per square foot thing. And if you get any amount of float, regardless if it's tidal or not or what, that's expensive.
How many fees are we discussing tonight?
We can discuss any and all if you like.
I was just saying, I rather,
I think this is this is a bigger budgetary issue. Chris, I forwarded you that email from Connor. So we were waiting to find out what the free cash was for, I think the excise tax error that came, that it was like a $60,000 excise tax error that happened at some point is coming back to the free cash for this year, as far as what the city's CFO said today, is only $23,000. We have a budget crisis. So the fees across the board and how we're going to do repairs and, you know, how we're gonna make the budget work and have some reserves is a bigger issue. And the you know, fees across the board are part of that issue. And I think you know, in tonight's meeting, we refer that out to Budget and Finance to really take a good hard look at how are we going to make the Waterways Board and the Harbor Master's budget work, you know, over the next 5 to 10 years.
So you wanna.
Donna, what was that number you said?
He told me 23,000.
All right, so
Yeah.
said 53.
So you wanna take number 7 and
Okay.
refer it out to
Yeah.
Budget and Finance?
Yeah, I mean, it's the
Yeah,
5-year budget projections for the Waterways Board, it's dismal. It's really terrible. So you know, I think we have to take a really thoughtful look at fees across the board and how we're going to fund all these repairs we have coming up, and have a reserve fund, a capital fund that actually tackles some of these big things that are coming down the road.
you know, Donna, to your point, what I'd like to see is that, keep it simple, stupid, just, I'd like to see a lot of that in writing. I mean, we can't just sit here and listen to Chris tell us about, you know, what the fees and maybe fees should go up. We need to see everything you just mentioned in writing, but in a simplistic form that a freshman in high school would
Even I
understand.
can understand.
That even I could understand.
So some of these
Drink.
bills for fees have already gone out for 2025.
yes.
This wouldn't be a this year thing. This is over the winter. Let's look at what the budget, not just look at fees, but look at the overall budget and what we're charging and how we're gonna make it all work. A strategic plan, in essence.
Could we also look at comparative analysis between Manchester, Rockport, and Beverly and Marblehead, and just kind of have for guys like me and whoever, just get an idea of who pays what everywhere else too.
Yep.
I don't know if Harbor Masters, Chris, if you guys have like that, you know, every once in a while, kind of, get together and compare notes, but that was just,
We do. We haven't in a while, but we do.
Okay. All right, so why don't we just table that? Now, do we need to vote to do that, to send that down to,
I think, I don't know the rules on that. You know better than I do, Phil, but I mean, we need like strategically to tackle this issue over the winter. So do we refer this to budget and finance and budget and finance takes it up?
Yes, we have to do that.
all right, so we need a motion to send that down to budget and finance.
Good,
I'm gonna make a motion to take for budget and finance to take a strategic look at fees and costs over the next 5 to 10 years. That's it. I'm gonna say budget and finance needs to be referred a strategic look at fees and costs in an overall plan for the next 5 to 10 years.
Okay,
I second it.
all right, Bobby seconds. All right, so roll call. Brian,
yes,
Donna, yes,
Yes,
yes, sorry.
John,
Yes.
Karen,
Yes.
me, Phil, yes, Bobby,
Yes.
Peter,
Yes.
all right. Anybody opposed? No. Any discussion? All right. Okay, so that'll go down to budget and finance. Whenever you guys have a meeting.
we will.
So the next one is committee reports. We didn't, the public facilities did not have a meeting since the last meeting we had. And that's probably my fault because I've been ill, but did Ops and Finance have a meeting?
We did not, but we'll get on it. We have stuff to tackle over the winter and Chris has much more time now, so we can really dig in, so.
We will too. We will too, because we've had problems with my.
If I could interject just really briefly, Chris Ryder from Bellingham did reach out to me this week about if we had come up with any kind of plan about what we wanted to do at
I-4C2.
I-4C2.
Yeah.
And I just gave him the broad brush of how much had gone on here in the last year, that we really hadn't moved too far ahead with it.
Yeah.
But I did ask him to give us a much more clear proposal with a per each breakdown on all the parts. Because we were all really confused by that when it came out last time.
So John, maybe you and Chris can kibitz a little bit about, what might be really imminent. We did a lot of meeting with the fishermen down there, and even if a few things got done, it would go a long way.
Right. Yeah, there's one float right after you get off the ramp that's really adrift.
It would go a long way towards goodwill with them too.
It will, that's what I'm saying. Even if we did a few of those minor repairs that made things a little bit better, I'm not saying, fluff, things that actually have to be done that we can do, this fall or in the spring, it would go a long way because, we did meet with them quite a bit.
This is the last day or two that he reached out to me. So I would hope that sometime in the next week, I'll get maybe a more detailed proposal from him. I can hope.
That one of those.
So are the rods available? Oh, yeah. They're available like to order. We have Rose's make them
Yeah, that's
at $65 to $70 a rod.
Yeah, and they're probably, I think they said they were around 50 a rod for the 8-footers.
Okay.
And
they
if you
do
make
have
them,
Get a case of them.
they're hot, yeah, they're not
Get as
making,
many as you can.
it's a different product altogether. That was
We've tried stainless, doesn't work, they snap.
Yeah, they snap easy.
The Galvy ones seem to work, the original ones work well.
Yeah.
So Chris, if you can work with John on that and really figure out what exactly we need to really, that really do the stuff right now. Cause I think those guys are looking to us to do some of the stuff we said we would do, so.
A long way to fix Dave Williams' thing. I don't know why.
He likes it like that,
I
it
don't
keeps
know why
everybody
he's
away.
shut off that thing.
All right, last item is,
Wait a minute, did we do mooring swap?
No, we did not.
No,
I was questionable about that one.
What did you say? You have a question about that?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, no. What did you decide about that? Is there something written out about that?
What did I decide?
Yeah.
It was taken out of the regs,
Okay.
a few years back. I don't know what year. I know Tony Gross was here
Tony was,
when it was taken
Yeah.
out. My suggestion
and we were not in this building.
is we don't swap. I just,
I think though, Chris, if you could give them some background on what we actually had voted on and how that all shook out, I think that's really what's going on.
And wasn't Army Corps?
so that, yeah, that was another one. So the Terry Grail swap, that's a perfect example. There's 1 million people waiting on the list. Terry Grail swapped with David Brown, or David Brown's wife. They did the swap. And then his wife gave up the mooring. So Terry was in 10 Pound Island mooring field, has another mooring up in the river. It was specifically asked by Peter if they were like-sized boats. Terry said, yes, like-sized boats, and you asked specifically about the 21-foot boat he has.
Right.
And he said it's like-sized boats. So the swap happened. Terry's mooring out there was given to David Brown's wife. And the swap was made. A week later, David Brown's wife gave up the mooring out there. Terry has the mooring in here now, and Terry put his son's 21-foot boat on that
I'm
mooring.
gonna have words with Terry.
So it's happened, it's done. I suggest at least that I take that mooring and move him to a spot for a 21-foot boat.
Yeah.
Instead of taking a 38-foot boat spot
Yes.
for a 21-foot boat.
Absolutely,
Right.
Do we all agree?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Okay, that's good.
so I'm just afraid that's gonna happen, and it's happened in the past, and
Yeah.
that's part of the reason that it was taken out. When Tony took it out, or when the board took it out, when Tony was here.
And we were
It
at City
happened,
Hall when that happened.
yeah, it happened a
Yeah.
lot.
That's what
So
we were meeting.
I just think it's gonna continue to happen. I've heard people call people and say, hey, do you wanna get rid of your mooring? And somebody's been there for years, no boat on the mooring. Well, you can't sell it. I'll buy it from you. Well, you can't sell it. They say, hey, I'll buy your gear from you. I'll give you $1,000 for your gear. And essentially they trade it and they buy the spot. So I think it's happened.
Yeah.
It does happen.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of the reason the swap should not be a thing anymore.
Yeah.
As far as the
But
swap.
it's
we
not a
talked
thing
about-
in the regs.
There's nothing in the regs that say that. Back in 2012, it said in the regs that you could swap.
Yeah.
And it was taken out.
Yeah.
So as far as the
John Andrew and.
other swap with John and his father,
Yeah,
he is in that federal area. So that swap is not doable. So in the Lobster Cove area, I can show you the area.
so I guess I'm in the federal area
So
too.
you are. No, you're the one on the corner is not.
So right next to dirt.
So that's the area right there. This is the yacht club.
Right.
That's the granite.
Uh-huh.
This is Lobster Cove. This is the sandbar. So this is all the federal area.
Okay.
And this is the federal area they dredged out. So everything within that federal area is bound. We have to go by federal rules that we cannot swap, that we cannot hand down more. Unfortunately, that's the only place in Gloucester that you can't do that.
So that was for John Andrew.
Yes.
His dad.
Yes.
And what about the other one?
What was the other one?
He wanted his mother as a mooring in the cove.
Oh, so he came in today. He came, I didn't know, he came
Josh
in today.
Fenalosa.
It very well could be. He has a letter from his mother, and I told him the same thing, that I need to find the coordinates of his mooring.
Okay.
And if it's within that work area, then it can't be done. And he was okay with it.
All
So
right.
I told him I would follow up.
Do I need to do anything?
Nope.
Okay. I only asked.
If you
John
wanna
gave me
pass that,
minutes.
they can see that, so
Okay.
they all can take a look at that.
Thanks, Chris.
Okay, item number 8, unanticipated items.
Yeah, I got one.
Okay,
It was brought to my attention, by a fellow that I know that has a houseboat up in the Ennisquam. And he pointed something out to me about this summer's new regulation about having to make notification of the harbor master's office if you're gonna spend the night on your boat. He said, that's a little prejudicial, don't you think? And I went, what do you mean? He said, they don't have to do it if you're in a marina.
That's right, you don't.
You don't, but you probably should, because they all use the same toilet facilities on their boats.
No, and that's the other thing that they don't have to do with the marina is that we had made that distinction last time we spoke about it. That pretty soon it's gonna get down to everyone having to talk about that at their marinas as well.
So the difference is the marina is in an area that's close to shellfish. So this is a shellfish issue and an FDA potential risk if you're in the river.
Yeah, but what about like the one at in Little River, the marina there, condo marina?
That's
They're
still-
they're right across from a shellfish.
Yeah, but it's outside of that fishable area. So there's a line there. So
Are we doing everybody on every mooring in the city?
no, it's only a boat above 25 feet, which has the capability of staying overnight and having a facility
But
So there's
but in shellfish areas only.
in shellfish areas. Yes, and the river is potentially a shellfish area, every bank of that.
But those like the marshes adjacent to Cape Ann Marina aren't?
The marsh, no, because that's still considered a contaminated area, shellfish
But
one.
you,
Marina areas can't, you can't, it's.
but you can't anchor there or moor there, so nobody's gonna stay overnight next to Cape Ann Marina.
No, but people in the marina spending the night of their boat in the marina or at any other marina. for that
I
matter.
saw that. I saw that.
And it's not anything we can deal with. It's a federal law. I mean, they have to decide who has to report and who doesn't.
No, this was our compromise to get the feds to go away.
This
That
was,
we came up with this.
This was the
We'll
lesson
make
of all
we'll make everybody tell if they're gonna spend the night on their boat or not.
this was the lesser of all the evils. This was to,
Yeah,
If we
I
do
just,
this
you know,
way.
this was one of the ones that happened when I was Zoom at work and I was losing connection over and over again. And I felt like this is one of those things that we really needed to go to a congressman or a senator and say, tell those people to get that. I mean, by that, I mean the FDA, because if we aren't the problem, we're testing our water quality incessantly. If we have water quality issues, it's freshwater runoff during rainstorms. It's not sewer coming out of pleasure boats. We don't have that. That's not our issue. That might be the issue on the West Coast. That might be an issue down in Florida. But for them to turn around and now all of a sudden, we've got these rules that now people are gonna have to either abide by or worry about. And they weren't applicable to us, and we just did this to go, stop looking at us.
yeah,
But that wasn't the right
that's
thing
why
to
we
do.
did it.
We really should have found, that's what we have elected officials for. Is to go to the bureaucrats and go, no. Leave us alone. That's not our fault, it's not our problem.
So the houseboat by Cross Creek probably should have reported to you, right?
Yes.
Frost Creek, oh, okay, yeah. That's the.
Patty boat.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a weird looking two-decker.
It looked like it hit the bridge and the top slid halfway off.
Yeah,
That actually came into the Mill River for a couple of weeks
They
this
did,
summer.
they were doing some work on it. Yeah, right across from you.
I don't know why people would, you're dancing people.
You're dancing
showing.
people, Donna.
I'm like.
Donna, have a look at it.
We can see everybody dancing in there. That's what I've been waiting
That's
to.
what we've been waiting at.
Like an Egyptian.
So the AYC had a report to you weekly.
Yes, they did
Um,
with their transients.
yeah, by the way, we're closed now.
Yep.
So we don't have any.
Okay. Donna, did you have something?
No, I mean, this is totally outside of my, I mean, this was a thing that TJ organized. If we need to have, we could ask Ann Margaret to come to a Waterways Board meeting and say, hey, this doesn't make any sense for us, but, or I could make a meeting with her, or her people. I mean, I would need to be coached by John, or he would come, because I don't, this isn't, definitely not my area of expertise.
It would be definitely Senator
Well, I
Tar.
mean,
We could have DMF come up to a meeting. They'd be happy to explain it and the science behind it.
Well, but the thing is, they came up with these, came up with
Right.
that regulation to get.
To satisfy the
To satisfy the
Yes,
FDA.
yes.
We
It
have
was-
to let poor Brian get off this call and go home to his
Why?
family.
He's still sitting in his car.
He's on the side of the road.
Why? I'm enjoying Whole Foods.
Yeah, there you go.
Did you have
doesn't have
another
to go home.
topic?
Do you have an item?
No,
I do,
Can you-
no.
Donna, you don't have an item?
Do I?
Yeah,
Do you want to remind me?
you said that you had an item of an unanticipated item.
Oh, but that was the free cash. I think the budget crunch, I just got that number. We really were anticipating, Chris and John and I met. We were anticipating north of 100,000 in free cash. And the number I got from Connor today was 23,000. So,
That's-
yeah,
Okay.
but I don't have more than that. We're gonna have to sit, Chris and I are gonna have to sit down and really sort of hash out this budget on, because we have $35,000 that has to go to salaries from what we have currently, and we're only adding back allegedly 23,000. So, we're gonna have to find some money somewhere.
Okay.
That's all. Yeah, I thought we would have the free cash number and it would be much higher, and we would need to, we're gonna have to move money for salaries to cover the budget for this year. And I think we'll have to do that December 5th, the first Tuesday of December is once we know the actual number. Are you okay with that, Chris?
Yep.
Okay.
Sorry. So, last item. Anybody want to make a motion to adjourn?
Oh,
Yes.
make a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Second,
Second.
all those in favor, Brian?
He's already gone
He's
home.
already gone.
no, I'm
No, he
not.
muted.
No, I'm not. Yes.
Thank
Okay.
you, Brian. Thanks for coming in, because without you, we wouldn't have had a quorum. So,
Yeah, no kidding. Thank you.
Donna?
Thanks, Brian.
yes.
John?
Yes.
Karen?
Yes.
Me, yes. Bonnie?
Yes.
Peter?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, good night, everybody.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Everybody.
Go dancing, girl.
Like an Egyptian.